bears that occasionally come and try and attack me, and I can shelter there, so that's great. And then in front of me there's the forest, and the forest is full of nuts and berries and trees, and they feed me, and they're delicious, and they sort of keep me going. And here's a stream going through, it's got fish running through it, and the water's delicious, and I drink the water, and everything's fantastic. And there's my cousin Ugg. And Ugg has caught a mammoth. Yay! Ugg has got a mammoth. Mammoths are terrific. There's nothing greater than a mammoth, because a mammoth, basically you can wrap yourself in the fur from the mammoth, you can eat the meat of the mammoth, and you can use the bones of the mammoth to catch other mammoths. Now this world is a fantastically good world for me. And part of how we come to take command of our world, to take command of our environment, to make these tools with which we're able to do this, is we ask ourselves questions about it the whole time. So this man starts to ask himself questions. So this world, he says, well, who made it? Now, of course he thinks that because he makes things himself. So he's looking for someone who will have made this world. And says, well, so who would have made this world? Well, he must be something a little bit like me. Obviously, much, much bigger. And necessarily invisible. But he would have made it. Now, why did he make it? Now, we always ask ourselves why, because we look for intention around us. Because we always we do something with intention. You know, we boil an egg in order to eat it. So we look at the rocks and we look at the trees and we wonder what intention is here, even though it doesn't have intention. So we think, so what did this person who made this world intend it for? And this is the point where you think, well, it fits me very well. You know, the caves and the forests and the stream and the mammoths. He must have made it for me. I mean, there's no other conclusion you can come to. And it's rather like a puddle waking up one morning. I know they don't normally do this, but allow me, I'm a science fiction writer. A puddle wakes up one morning and thinks, this is a very interesting world I find myself in. It fits me very neatly. In fact, it fits me so neatly, I mean, really precise, isn't it? It must have been made to have me in it. And the sun rises, and he's continuing to narrate the story about this hole being made to have him in it. And the sun rises, and gradually the puddle is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And by the time the puddle ceases to exist, it's still thinking, it's still trapped in this idea that the hole was there for it. And if we think the world is here for us, we will continue to destroy it in the way that we've been destroying it, because we think we can do no harm. There's an awful lot of speculation, one way or another at the moment, about whether there's life on other planets or not. Carl Sagan, as you know, was very keen on the idea that there must be. The sheer numbers dictate, because there are billions and billions and billions, as he famously did not say, in fact, of worlds out there. So the chance must be that there are there's other life out there, there's other intelligent life out there. There are other voices at the moment you'll hear saying, well, actually, if you look at this set of circumstances here on Earth, they are so extraordinarily specific that the chances of there being something like this out there are actually pretty remote. Now, in a way, it doesn't matter. Because think of this. I mean, Carl Sagan, I think, himself said this. There are two possibilities. Either there is life out there on other planets, or there is no life out there on other planets. They are both utterly extraordinary ideas. But there is the possibility, there is a strong possibility, there isn't anything out there remotely like us. And we are behaving as if this planet, this extraordinary, utterly extraordinary little ball of life is something we can just screw about with any way we like. And maybe we can't. Maybe we should be looking after it just a little bit better. Not for the world's sake. We talk rather grandly about saving the world. We don't have to save the world. The world's fine. The world has been through 5 periods of mass extinction. 65 million years ago when, as it seems, a comet hit the Earth at the same time that were vast volcanic eruptions in India, which saw off the dinosaurs and something like 90% of the life on the planet at the time. Go back another, I think it's 150 million years earlier than that, to the Permian-Triassic boundary. Another giant extinction. The world has been through it many times before. And what tends to happen, well, what happens invariably after each mass extinction, is that there's a huge amount of space available for new forms of life suddenly to emerge and flourish into it. Just as the extinction of the dinosaurs made way for us. Without that extinction, we would not be here. So the world is fine. We don't have to save the world. The world is big enough to look after itself. What we have to be concerned about is whether or not the world we live in will be capable of sustaining us in it. That's what we need to think about. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now, if anybody has any questions, I'm very happy to take questions, and there are microphones down here at the front, and I suggest you use them. Yeah, hi.
Thank you for a wonderful talk. You say we should take care to not destroy the planet. There's one suggestion that's been made is that the reason why we destroy the planet is that we don't pay the true cost of things when we consume them. The price of gasoline has been falling in real dollars, and the vehicles get bigger and bigger. We have these selfish, useless vehicles, I think they're called, the SUVs.
You know, I have to say, as a Brit, you know, we sit there thinking, the Americans are complaining again because their gas prices have reached now nearly a quarter of what we pay.
So I just wonder whether you think that's a good solution, is that if we would pay the true cost of things, if we would pay the $10 a gallon or whatever it really costs in terms of the impact on the environment, that might make a difference.
It may be. There is a problem I'm very conscious of here, which is that even though I'm talking from a conservationist point of view very strongly, you look back over the history of what we in the conservation movement have said in the last 10 years and the previous 10 years and the previous 10 years to that, and most of what we've said we have to do about it, or the ways we've gone about it, have actually turned out to be wrong. Now, so it's very hard for me to pretend I can stand up here and say, we have to do this and we have to do that, because they may not be the right solution. I mean, I'm terribly aware of this as far as, I'm just going back again, I'm thinking about sort of protection of animals in Africa, for instance, that time after time we've gone about it the wrong way. And the conservation efforts of one set of 10 years will as much